What is up, guys? Day 3. We are just trying to truck along and just bang jobs out on this truck. Got a bunch of stuff going on. So this whole entire truck's basically ripped apart. So like I was saying in the last video, turbos are on the truck. Try and get you guys in there. So the turbos are in the truck. The BD diesel exhaust manifolds are in the truck. CV fabrication 3-inch catless downpipes in the truck. All new coolant and oil lines, the hard lines and the fittings, the ones that always leak on these EcoBoost motors, all brand new. I just mounted up the intercooler. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to plumb this intercooler piping right now, because these stock turbos had the blow-off valves recirced into the turbo housing. I had to buy these plugs for the turbo inlets because they don't make aftermarket turbo inlet pipes for the first gen EcoBoost. I wasn't able to find any, at least. So I'm using just plugs, cut the hose short, and then plug the turbo inlets. But I have aftermarket intercooler piping. So this is the turbo inlet for the passenger side. I got the intercooler mounted up. I'm going to grab 2 washers to throw on these bolts. We'll get those bolted down so the intercooler is where it's supposed to be, and then we'll start running the intercooler piping. I was going to run the AC in this truck. I'm not going to now. There's just too much going on the front end. I'm really not concerned about air conditioning at this point in time. It's like the last of my concerns. But we're trucking along. We're just trying to bang out, whatever we can. We got a bunch of parts. It's cold outside, and I just want to get this truck done. So I just want to hear this truck run. It's been a while. Yesterday we got the Deechworks fuel pump installed into the sending unit. So another thing that I'm gonna have to do with this truck is, here, let me throw you guys on the tripod, and I'll break this down a little bit more, and I'll explain to you what I'm gonna use these Mamba fittings for. So let me throw you guys on the tripod, and I'll get right back with you. All right, so the stock turbos for this truck had the blow-off valves integrated into the turbo housing. So basically you had the turbo inlets. This is the driver's side turbo inlet. You had the turbo inlet going into the front of the turbo, and there was a hose coming off this piece of the turbo inlet that went to the blow-off valve on the turbo housing, and it would recirc the air back into the turbo inlet. We're not utilizing that anymore because these stage 2 gen 2 turbos do not incorporate the blow-off valve on the turbo housing. The blow-off valve is incorporated into the intercooler. It is electronically controlled from factory. What I ended up doing was I went with an aftermarket intercooler, and we went with a Turbo Smart mechanical blow-off valve. That being said, the boost control solenoids usually route into each individual blow-off valve on each turbo. So I needed a boost reference point. I needed to tap into the turbo for a boost reference point. And these turbos did not have a tap on them. I could have added one. I could have drilled and tapped the turbo housing. I had the turbos in the truck already. So what I found was a kit from Mamba. So I'll show you guys this kit really quick. It is a 1/4-inch DIY turbo silicone boost pipe. It's a nipple gauge fitting kit. So they say that, yeah, my hands are dirty. What do you expect? They say that these can hold up to 60 PSI, which we won't be anywhere near that, but I'll show you guys what the kit utilizes. So basically, it looks just like this, and it comes with an O-ring, and an O-ring goes on the back side of the kit. You drill a 1/4-inch hole into your silicone coupler. So I'll be doing that on the intercooler piping for boost reference. So I'll drill a little hole right here, and I'll put this through the back side with the O-ring on the back end, and then the washer on top with the nut, and you'll tighten it down, and it'll make an airtight seal, and it'll give you somewhere to grab boost reference from. Reason why we're going to need boost reference from both turbo like boost reference points from both turbos, is because of the boost control solenoids. So you got one line that goes to the motor, you got one line that goes to the blow-off valve, and then you got one line that's going to the turbo housing. So I needed that one spot for the turbo housing. I'll tee off the sides that go to the blow-off valve, and we'll run one line into the blow-off valve. So I'll tee this solenoid to this solenoid and put it into one that goes to the mechanical blow-off valve on the intercooler, and then we'll have our lines to the motor on both of them. So it was a little tricky trying to figure out exactly how I was going to run these boost lines and everything like that. But after I, sat there and figured it out and thought it through in my head, because these turbo systems from factory, they recirc a lot of the, instead of vent to atmosphere, they recirc a lot of the air. And, obviously it's a different type of setup when you're running a blow-off valve on the intercooler itself. So let me grab 2 washers. I'm going to bolt down that intercooler, and I'm going to try and get the intercooler piping plumbed up where I want it so that I can make those marks and drill for those boost reference points. Once I get those drilled and set, I can bolt in all the intercooler piping and start running my hoses. That's the most complicated part right now. Other than that, it's just bolting stuff on. I mean, I did want to tackle the gas tank today, but I started messing with this intercooler piping, and at this point, I'm just doing whatever I could get done and just trying to, bang out job after job. So I'll throw you guys on time lapse. We'll put you over by the truck. We'll grab some washers. We'll bolt down that intercooler, and we'll try and get cooking on this. All right, so this intercooler is basically completely just drop in, ready to go for the F150. So you're going to utilize the stock bottom bar support. The top one is you're going to do away with it. You don't need it. So we'll drop the intercooler down in here very carefully. We'll line up our bottom spot. Make sure we're set in there. And then usually that bottom or the top crossbar that comes over, you're just going to eliminate that altogether, and the bolts that you use for that just go right in the top right here. All right. So now we got on the driver's side, we got the intercooler piping, the cold side that goes right into the throttle body, and then the passenger side, we have the 2 hot sides that come off of the turbos. So I'm going to start with the passenger side, plumbing that one up, getting it into the intercooler, and just go from there. I might run my driver's side throttle body cold side piping. I might just put that in just so it's in there. I know where it's at, and I'm not interfering with anything when I'm trying to bolt everything up. Pretty self-explanatory. So like I was talking about before, I went with a mechanical blow-off valve because this truck's computer isn't set up for an electronic blow-off valve. It's not a Gen 2 computer. It's not a Gen 2 truck. It's a Gen 1 truck, so it's set up for mechanical blow-off valves in the turbo housing, which we don't have anymore. So we had to still create a blow-off valve to vent that pressure somewhere, which we're venting it to the atmosphere. So it's a Turbo Smart mechanical blow-off valve. It goes right into the intercooler, and it does come, if you're using this on a Gen 2 truck, it comes with the resistor to plug into your harness so you don't get a check engine light, and you'll still be able to get those cool blow-off valve sounds. So let's grab that the passenger side intercooler piping. I'll start plumbing that up, and actually I think I'm going to throw the cold side throttle body pipe in real quick just so I know where that's at, like I said, and we'll go from there. I do want to get the radiator in the truck as well, so just trying to, there's a process and an order of which you should be doing these steps, but with the truck all apart like this and trying to fit things up, it's really just up to you to figure it out. So let's just start throwing parts on. got the cold side bolted up, intercoolers in. So we got the cold charge pipe coming from the driver's side of the intercooler to the top of the throttle body. You see our Turbo Smart blow-off valve right next to it, vent to atmosphere, coming right over, right into the throttle body. And then we got our two connections on the passenger side. That'll go to each turbo. We got our passenger side turbo inlet right here. If they made aftermarket turbo inlets for this truck, I would have got them, but they don't. AMS Performance has one, or a set of turbo inlets, but they're for Gen 2 truck, so can't utilize them on this truck, which really sucks. But that intercooler does look badass. Sorry, we're working in tight quarters right now. Trust me, I hate it too. But the intercooler definitely looks badass, and I can't wait to hear that blow-off valve. So that intercooler should look nice behind the front bumper too. I ran this bumper a couple years ago. If you guys look back on other videos of the truck, you'll see it with that front bumper on it. But slowly but surely making headway. Like I said, the next thing I need to do is I need to run the two hot side pipes for each turbo. I'm going to do the passenger side first, and then we'll do the driver side. Once that's done, I can mark the location of where I'm going to put those Mamba nipples. We'll drill for those, and then we'll install them. And once those are installed, then we can put the actual the pipes into the truck and leave them in, and bolt them down and leave them for good. Once those two pipes are in, I'm going to put the cold air intake together, and basically just start putting the radiator and the transcooler back together in the truck. I think I'm going to leave the AC condenser out because I'm leaving the compressor out of the truck. So I was going to put the compressor in, but it's just too tight with the turbo right there up against the frame rail. There's a little bit too much going on. I haven't really seen anybody else do what I'm doing with this truck. I know somebody just commented yesterday, said that they're doing something similar with their truck. If you do end up seeing this video, same guy that commented, leave a comment down below and tell us what year your truck is and everything that you're doing to it, because I'm definitely interested in checking it out, and maybe we could talk about some issues that I'm trying to figure out and fight through, and maybe I can help you or you can help me with my build. But yeah, some of the other parts that we got that I'm excited to see what they're all about is that JMS from JMS Super Chips, the Launch Max. It's basically just a trans brake for the 6R80 plug and play. So we got that. I got a full trans service. I showed you guys the part numbers yesterday on that. I'll show them again. So this is for the 6R80. This is going to be your filter for the transmission. We got BL3Z7A098-A, the filter screen, the transpan gasket, Ford OEM part number BL3Z7A191-C. And then I just grabbed a bunch of fluid. I believe it's like 10 quarts or something like that. I bought it online as a kit. See how many quarts it came with. 7 quarts of the Mercon LV automatic transmission fluid. That should be enough for a filter change, filter service. Here's that hose. I'm going to need those constant tension clamps. So I got a new lower radiator hose as well. Just trying to be preventative. Right now it looks like a mess, a whole bunch of pile of parts, but hopefully we'll be able to turn it into something. I showed you guys those gauges. It's a nice kit from Glow Shift. So it's got the 3 gauge pod that'll go up on the driver side. And then we got boost, fuel pressure, and oil pressure. And it came with all the necessary wiring, the fittings, fuel pressure fitting, the oil filter sandwich plate, everything like that. And then this came with the blow-off valve, like I was talking about with that Turbo Smart blow-off valve. So if you have a Gen 2 truck, your truck has an electronic blow-off valve on the intercooler. So this blow-off valve is mechanical, so it's going to come with this resistor so you don't get a check engine light. You'll be able to plug that into your harness for your blow-off valve and just run hoses and run the mechanical vent to atmosphere blow-off valve, and it should sound pretty sweet. So that's what we're doing in our case, because the truck doesn't have a computer for an electronic blow-off valve. You know, we're running the mechanical Turbo Smart, and it's just going to be vent to atmosphere. So I think for right now, yeah, like I said, I'll just throw those passenger side pipes in, and got a focus issue every time I get over here in the sun. Let's go back in the garage. So like I said, I'll throw on those passenger pipes, and we'll just try and go from there. I'll try and keep you guys updated. I mean, you see how much of a pain it is to try and hold the camera and get work done at the same time. It's kind of like a turtle race. Let me throw you guys on the tripod. So yeah, like I was saying, I mean, it's kind of a pain with the camera trying to get actual work done and video at the same time. It's like a turtle race over here, trying to inch away or bang out as a little job here and there and make headway on the truck. But like I said, I'm not trying to do things 3 times, 4 times. I want to do this once, get it right the first time, and not have to go back over anything, which is the exact reason why I'm doing stuff like this. There was nothing wrong with this lower radiator hose, but it's gonna give. It's the OEM hose. It's gonna at some point fail. It's got that plastic coupling, so I went ahead and bought a Motorcraft replacement. Stuff like that. If I'm going to be in there, this hose is going to be a pain to get to once all that intercooler piping and everything is in there. So I figure, let me save myself the headache and just change it now. But yeah, we're just going to try and make headway with the truck. I think right now it's a little cold outside. I'm going to call it outside on the actual truck. We'll work in here in the garage. We'll throw on some music, and we'll get this fuel pump sending unit assembly drop back into the tank, get the tank buttoned up, and then hopefully we'll be able to get the tank back into the truck soon. We'll do the charcoal canister, and we'll just keep moving along. There's really no rhyme or rhythm to what I'm doing. I'm walking in the garage and looking at a part and saying that's what's going on today. So we're just trying to chip away at it. It's gonna be a while. It's gonna take a long time, a lot of work, and hopefully we get this truck running here soon. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day. Keep wrenching.